The courtroom erupted in stunned silence as the lawyer read the final words of Jonathan Hargrove's will. To my son, Niall Sander Hargrove, I bequeath my entire estate, including the family business, properties, and all financial assets, in recognition of his courage to live authentically. Niall's heart pounded like a drum in his chest, his hand instinctively reaching for his partner, Michael's, under the table. But across the room, his stepmother, Victoria, leaped to her feet, her face twisting into a mask of fury, screaming, "This is a fraud! That deviant doesn't deserve a dime." Niles had always known his father's death would unravel the fragile threads holding their family together, but he never imagined it would start with such explosive betrayal. Jonathan Hargrove, the self-made tycoon of Hargrove Industries in bustling New York City, had passed away suddenly from a heart attack at 62, leaving behind a legacy built on steel and ambition. Niles, 28, had come out to his father 5 years earlier during a tense dinner in their Upper East Side penthouse. Jonathan's initial shock had given way to quiet acceptance, but Victoria, his second wife of 10 years, had never hidden her disdain. "It's unnatural," she'd hissed more than once, her southern drawl laced with judgment from her conservative Georgia roots. Now, with the will revealed, her mask of civility shattered. As the judge adjourned the reading, Victoria stormed toward Niles, her designer heels clicking like gunfire on the marble floor. "You think you can steal everything we've built? Jonathan was coerced, probably by you and that man of yours." She jabbed a manicured finger at Michael, who stood protectively beside Niles, his calm demeanor a stark contrast to the chaos. Michael, a 30-year-old architect with kind eyes and a steady presence, had been Niles's rock through the coming-out storm. They'd met at a gallery opening in Brooklyn 3 years ago, their connection instant and profound. But in Victoria's eyes, Michael was the embodiment of everything wrong with Niles's lifestyle. Outside the courthouse, under the relentless June sun, Niles felt the weight of stares from passers-by. New York was progressive, but whispers of scandal traveled fast in high society. "We need to talk," Victoria demanded, blocking their path to the car. Niles's mind raced. Should he confront her here or retreat? The inheritance was a fortune. The company worth millions, vacation homes in the Hamptons and Aspen, stocks that could secure his future. But it wasn't just money. It was validation from a father who'd struggled to express love. Jonathan had written a private letter, sealed with the will. "Son, be true to yourself. I regret not saying it sooner." Tears stung Niles's eyes as he recalled those words. That evening, in their cozy Greenwich Village apartment, Niles paced the living room while Michael prepared dinner. "She'll contest it," Niles said, voice trembling. "She has grounds. Undue influence. Maybe even claim I manipulated Dad because of my sexuality." Michael set down the knife, pulling Niles into an embrace. "We'll fight it. Together." But doubt crept in. Niles's half-siblings, Victoria's children from her first marriage, twins Emily and Ethan, both 22, had been distant but civil. Now, whispers from family friends suggested they sided with their mother, viewing Niles as the outsider who'd corrupted Jonathan. The first crack appeared the next day. A call from Hargrove Industries board. "Mr. Hargrove, there's unrest among shareholders. Rumors of a lawsuit could tank stock prices." Niles's role as VP of Operations suddenly felt precarious. He met with his lawyer, Sarah Klein, a sharp-minded advocate for LGBTQ rights. "Victoria's playing the homophobia card subtly," Sarah warned. "She'll argue Jonathan wasn't in his right mind, influenced by modern pressures." Niles nodded, but inside, the conflict tore at him. Was claiming the inheritance selfish? Should he share to keep peace, even if it meant endorsing Victoria's bigotry? Tensions escalated at a family meeting in the penthouse. Victoria arrived with her attorney, a slick man named Harlan Reed. "Jonathan promised me security," she declared, eyes cold. "Your choices disgusted him." Niles's blood boiled. Dad accepted me. He told me so. But Ethan interjected. Did he? Or was it guilt? Mom raised us while you were off playing house. The word stung like a slap. Emily remained silent, her gaze averted, but her absence of defense spoke volumes. As the argument raged, Niles flashed back to his childhood. After his mother's death from cancer when he was 10, Jonathan had remarried Victoria for stability. Niles had buried his feelings deep, excelling in school and business to earn approval. Coming out had been his first act of rebellion, but now it felt like a curse. Michael waited outside, respecting the family-only rule, but Niles yearned for his support. By night's end, no resolution. Only threats of court battles that could drag on for years, draining resources and exposing private pains. Niles lay awake that night, Michael's arm around him. What if fighting destroys us? He whispered. Michael kissed his forehead. Then we rebuild. But giving in means letting hate win. The decision loomed. Stand firm and risk alienation, or compromise and betray his father's wishes. The city lights flickered outside, mirroring the turmoil in Niles's heart. The lawsuit hit like a thunderbolt 2 weeks later. Victoria filed in Manhattan Supreme Court, alleging Jonathan lacked testamentary capacity due to emotional manipulation by Niles. Tabloids pounced. Gay heir's fortune feud. Stepmom claims coercion. Niles's phone buzzed incessantly with reporters' calls, turning his daily commute into a gauntlet of flashing cameras. At Hargrove Industries, whispers in boardrooms grew louder. Colleagues who'd once praised his innovations now eyed him warily, as if his personal life tainted his professionalism. Sarah Klein dove into defense mode, gathering affidavits from Jonathan's friends and doctors attesting to his sound mind. We have the letter, she said during a strategy session in her Midtown office. It's ironclad, but Niles worried about the human cost. Michael noticed the strain, his usually vibrant partner withdrawing into silence. Talk to me, Michael urged one evening over takeout Thai. Niles sighed. I feel like I'm defending not just the will, but my right to exist. Michael nodded, sharing his own scars from a conservative family in Ohio who disowned him after he came out at 18. Their shared pain bonded them, but the pressure tested their relationship. Pivotal moment came at a deposition. Victoria, under oath, unleashed venom. Jonathan confided he regretted Niles's choices. He said it was a phase influenced by that boyfriend. Niles's lawyer objected, but the damage lingered. Was there truth? Jonathan had been distant, but in their last conversation, weeks before his death, he'd said, I'm proud of you, son. Live your truth. Niles clung to that memory, but doubt festered. Ethan and Emily testified next, their words a betrayal. Ethan claimed, Dad always favored Mom's kids until Niles played the victim card. Emily, softer, admitted, I don't hate Niles, but this feels unfair. Mom deserves something. The media frenzy amplified societal prejudices. Online forums buzzed with homophobic trolls. Typical. Gays ruining families for money. Niles's social media filled with hate mail, forcing him to go private. At a low point, he considered settling, offering Victoria a portion to end the nightmare. Maybe it's not worth the fight, he told Michael during a walk in Central Park. Michael stopped, turning Niles to face him. It is. This isn't just about us. It's about every queer person facing erasure. Their kiss under the blooming cherry trees drew stares, but Niles felt a spark of resolve. Yet, internal conflicts deepened. Niles's therapist, Dr. Lena Ortiz, probed during sessions. What does winning mean to you? Validation or vengeance? Niles admitted the inheritance symbolized acceptance he'd craved from Jonathan. Losing it would affirm Victoria's view that his love was lesser. Meanwhile, at work, a board member pulled him aside. Step down temporarily. The scandal's hurting morale. Niles refused, but sales dipped 15%, blaming instability. Family rifts widened at a mediated session. Victoria offered a truce. split the estate 50-50, but with conditions: no public displays with Michael at family events, and Niles must respect traditional values in business dealings. "It's for harmony," she said sweetly. Niles's anger surged. "Harmony on your terms? Erasing who I am." He stormed out, but the offer haunted him. Ethan cornered him later. "Mom's not the villain. She's scared, losing everything." For the first time, Niles saw vulnerability in his half-brother's eyes, a crack in the united front. That night, a betrayal struck closer. Michael confessed he'd been contacted by Harlan Reed, Victoria's lawyer, offering a bribe to testify against Niles. "I told him to shove it," Michael said, but the revelation shook Niles. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" Trust wavered, amplifying his isolation. As they argued, Niles lashed out. "Maybe this is too much. Maybe we're the problem." Michael's face fell, hurt flashing in his eyes. "Is that what you believe?" The silence stretched, a chasm opening between them. Dawn brought clarity. Niles called Sarah. "No settlement. We fight." But the cost mounted, legal fees ate into savings, and stress triggered migraines. Society's gaze weighed heavy. Friends distanced themselves, fearing association with the drama. In quiet moments, Niles questioned his choices. Was coming out worth this war? The answer evolved: not just worth it, but necessary. High Treo built as trial dates loomed, promising more revelations and heartaches. Discovery phase unearthed skeletons that rattled everyone. Emails from Jonathan surfaced, revealing private conversations with Victoria. Niles's happiness matters more than tradition. He'd written months before dying. Victoria's response: "You're enabling sin." Niles felt vindicated, but the exposure humiliated her, fueling her rage. In retaliation, she leaked selective messages to the press, twisting them to portray Jonathan as conflicted. Headlines screamed, "Tycoon's secret doubts about gay son's lifestyle." The backlash hit Michael hardest. His architecture firm faced client pullouts, whispers of association with scandal. "I can handle it," he assured Niles, but dark circles under his eyes told otherwise. Their relationship strained under the scrutiny, intimate moments interrupted by paranoia of surveillance. One night, after a heated board meeting where Niles defended his leadership, he returned home to find Michael packing a bag. "I need space," Michael said, voice breaking. "This fight's consuming us." Niles's world tilted. "Don't leave. You're my anchor." Tears flowed as they talked through the night, confronting fears. Michael stayed, but the fracture lingered, a reminder of love's fragility amid external wars. Societal pressures amplified. At a LGBTQ gala in Chelsea, Niles spoke publicly. "This isn't about money. It's about dignity." Applause thundered, but online, conservatives rallied behind Victoria, framing her as the wronged traditional wife. Protests formed outside Hargrove offices, signs reading, "Family values first." Niles's half-siblings wavered. Emily reached out secretly. "I don't agree with Mom's hate, but splitting might heal us." Ethan, however, doubled down, posting on social media, "Blood over choices." The divide deepened, forcing Niles to choose: family ties or self-respect. A moral quandary arose when Sarah uncovered Victoria's financial desperation. Hidden debts from failed investments. Jonathan had bailed her out repeatedly. "She needs the money," Sarah said. "But that's no excuse for bigotry." Niles grappled. Offer help privately or let the court decide? Compassion clashed with justice. He confronted Victoria at a neutral cafe in Soho. "Why the hate? Dad loved you." She softened momentarily. "I feared losing him to your world." But pride won. "Accept my terms or lose everything." Niles walked away, heart heavy with the realization that some bridges burn irrevocably. The trial began in fall, leaves turning as tensions peaked. Opening statements painted clashing narratives. Sarah's of acceptance, Harlan's of manipulation. Witnesses testified. Jonathan's doctor confirmed lucidity. A family friend recalled his pride in Niles. But Victoria's turn brought drama. Sobbing, she claimed, Niles turned Jonathan against us with his agenda. Cross-examination exposed lies. But sympathy swayed some jurors. Niles took the stand, voice steady. Dad's will was his final act of love. Denying it denies me. Questions probed his relationship. Did you pressure him? No. I lived my truth, hoping he'd see it. Outside court, Michael faced his own battle. A client meeting turned hostile. We can't work with someone in that mess. He quit, starting freelance, but resentment simmered. I'm paying for your family's hate, he told Niles. Guilt gnawed. Niles considered dropping the suit. But a call from an LGBTQ youth group changed that. Your story inspires us to fight. Responsibility outweighed personal pain. Betrayals compounded. Ethan admitted tampering emails for Victoria, guilt-stricken after seeing Niles's testimony. I'm sorry, he whispered in a hallway confrontation. Forgiveness tempted, but trust shattered. Emily, torn, testified neutrally, earning Victoria's ire. The family fractured irreparably, each paying a price. Victoria her dignity, siblings their unity, Niles his peace. As evidence closed, Niles reflected in Dr. Ortiz's office. Winning might destroy what's left, she nodded, but losing affirms prejudice. The verdict loomed, a culmination of months of anguish, testing if love could triumph over legacy's shadows. The jury deliberated for 3 agonizing days, the courthouse a pressure cooker of anticipation. Niles spent them in limbo, alternating between Hargrove meetings, where he pushed innovative sustainability projects to prove his worth, and quiet evenings with Michael, rebuilding their bond through honest talks. We've survived worse, Michael said, referencing his disownment. But scars remained. Niles's decisions now weighed their future. Verdict day dawned crisp in November. The courtroom packed. Media, supporters, detractors. We, the jury, find in favor of Nilesander Hargrove, the foreman announced. Cheers erupted from Niles's side. Victoria gasped, collapsing into her seat. The will stood, estate intact. Relief flooded Niles, but victory tasted bittersweet. Outside, under flashing bulbs, he stated, "This affirms that love isn't conditional." Victoria, flanked by Harlan, vowed appeal. Justice isn't served. Post-trial repercussions rippled. Hargrove stock rebounded, but Niles faced internal pushback from conservative board members. He fired one for discriminatory remarks, asserting, "Inclusion drives innovation." Personally, reconciliation attempts faltered. Victoria moved to Georgia, cutting contact, her pride wounded. Ethan sought therapy, apologizing via letter. "I was wrong, fear blinded me." Niles responded cautiously, a tentative olive branch. Emily visited, sharing coffee in the village. Mom's influence was toxic. Can we start over? Sibling bonds mended slowly, built on empathy. But the toll on Niles's psyche lingered. Nightmares of court battles plagued him, questioning if the fight was worth the emotional wreckage. Michael's career suffered setbacks. He turned down offers fearing scrutiny. "We're marked," he admitted. Their relationship evolved deeper but guarded. A weekend getaway to the Hamptons house, now Niles's, offered respite. Walking the beach, hands entwined, Niles proposed, "Marry me, let's build our legacy." Michael's yes sealed their commitment, a beacon amid chaos. Societal echoes persisted. Niles became an advocate, speaking at events. Coming out costs, but silence costs more. Media shifted from scandal to inspiration, but hate mail continued, reminding him of entrenched biases. A moral dilemma arose when Victoria's debts surfaced publicly. Bankruptcy loomed. Should he help anonymously? She'd see it as pity, Michael advised. Niles chose compassion, wiring funds through a foundation. No strings. It eased his conscience, but sparked debate. Was it enabling hate or rising above? High society judged. Invites dwindled from old circles, but new allies emerged in progressive networks. At a family foundation gala, renamed for Jonathan, Niles honored his father. He taught me integrity over inheritance. Ethan attended, a step toward healing. Yet, Victoria's absence stung, a void of unresolved pain. Internal conflicts climaxed in therapy. Dr. Ortiz challenged, "You've won the estate. Now win your peace." Niles confronted suppressed grief. Jonathan's death, unprocessed amid legal wars. Tears flowed, releasing years of pressure. Michael supported, their love a testament to resilience. As winter set in, Niles reflected on choices. Standing firm exacted prices. Relationships strained, innocence lost, but fostered growth. The story's arc bent toward awakening. Prejudice's defeat required sacrifice, but yielded authenticity. Still, questions lingered. Had he chosen rightly? With the appeal looming, Victoria regrouped in Georgia, rallying conservative supporters. "This is about family values," she proclaimed in interviews, framing Niles as the aggressor. Funds poured in for her legal battle, turning personal feud into cultural war. Niles countered with op-eds in the New York Times. Inheritance isn't about orientation, it's about intent. Public opinion split. Progressives hailed him, traditionalists vilified. The strain tested Niles's leadership at Hargrove. A major deal with a Midwestern supplier faltered over moral concerns. "Pull out," a VP urged. Niles refused. "We don't bow to bias." The contract signed, but at a cost, lost partnerships elsewhere. Innovation flourished under his helm. Eco-friendly initiatives drew millennial talent, boosting morale. Yet, whispers of agenda-pushing persisted, forcing Niles to navigate minefields of perception. Romantically, Michael and Niles planned their wedding, an intimate affair in the Aspen chalet. "No media," Niles insisted, but leaks happened. Paparazzi crashed, turning joy into spectacle. Vows exchanged amid snowflakes, but Victoria's shadow loomed. Ethan relayed her fury. "Disgraceful." The honeymoon in Hawaii offered escape, but reality intruded. Appeal hearings scheduled. Back in New York, depositions resumed. New evidence. A recorded call where Victoria admitted knowing Jonathan's wishes but ignoring them. "He was weak," she said. Sarah pounced. "Perjury." The case weakened, but Victoria fought dirty, hiring investigators to dig on Michael. Dirt emerged. A youthful arrest for protesting, spun as instability. Michael shrugged, proud of it, but the smear hurt his freelance gigs. Moral crossroads multiplied. Niles discovered Jonathan's journal, hidden in the penthouse safe. Entries praising Niles's courage, regretting his own silence on equality. "I failed as a father," Jonathan wrote. Reading it, Niles wept, forgiving past distances. Sharing with siblings, it sparked dialogue. Emily confided her own struggles with identity, hinting at bisexuality. "Mom would disown me." Niles supported, "You're not alone." Ethan opened up about therapy revelations. "I projected my insecurities." A turning point, Victoria's health scare. A minor stroke from stress. Hospitalized. She called Niles. "Not for pity, just truth. Jonathan loved you, but I couldn't accept." Vulnerability cracked her armor. Niles visited. No recriminations. "We can end this." She withdrew the appeal, settling for a modest sum. Peace at last? But awakenings came with costs. Victoria's concession exposed her isolation. Friends abandoned her for weakness. She moved to a smaller home, reflecting on prejudices. Niles pondered, forgiveness or justice? He chose both, funding her care anonymously. Their story inspired change. Hargrove adopted inclusive policies, donating to LGBTQ causes. Niles and Michael's marriage symbolized triumph, but scars reminded of battles fought. In the aftermath, life normalized but transformed. Niles led Hargrove to record profits, emphasizing diversity. Michael rebuilt his firm, specializing in sustainable designs. Their home buzzed with friends, chosen family replacing blood ties strained but mending. Ethan and Emily visited often, bonds strengthening through shared healing. Victoria, from afar, sent tentative holiday cards, a slow thaw. Yet, reflections on decisions haunted. Niles wondered, had compromising earlier spared pain? Michael's answer, no, growth demands struggle. Society evolved subtly. Their case cited in legal precedents for LGBTQ rights in estates. But backlash persisted, conservative groups boycotted Hargrove, testing resolve. A final awakening. At Jonathan's grave on his birthday, Niles spoke aloud, "Your gift wasn't money, it was freedom." Tears mingled with gratitude, closing chapters of doubt. The journey's prices: lost innocence, fractured relations, but gained authenticity, love fortified, and societal nudges toward equity. Choices, right or wrong, shaped destinies. Was fighting for the inheritance ultimately the ethical choice, or should Niles have shared to preserve family unity?